Welcome back to Sales Insights with Sarah. This is the podcast for sales professionals and business leaders looking to implement new strategies and drive sales growth in their organisations. I'm your host, Sarah Downs, and my guests and I will be sharing with you some of our own experiences in business and sales insights to help you gain focus and take action. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Sales Insights with Sarah podcast. So today I'm going to be talking about questions that we should be asking as sales professionals to help us identify the pain points in our prospects. Now, this is something that can take quite a bit of practice, but once you have nailed it, you know it, because the sales process is just so much smoother and you start qualifying your prospects at such an earlier stage that you'll know that you've nailed it. Now, this is something that some salespeople have really got good at, and they're the ones that everyone's watching in their organizations because they just seem to move through so quickly. So why is it important to identify the pain? Now, I'm going to use some nursing analogy on you again. And for anyone that's listened to my podcast for a while will understand why. But it's important to identify the pain or the symptom really early on. And the reason for that is because how can we know that what we are prescribing is the right thing if we don't understand the pains and symptoms to do the right diagnostic, if you like? And in diagnostic, what I'm really speaking about here are those discovery level conversations, the time in the process where we have the opportunity to ask some really great questions, to connect, to build rapport, allow your prospect to know you truly understand them and what they're going through, but also so that you know whether or not you have the right solution. So let's talk about some great questions that we can be asking to identify the pain within our prospects. So I'm just going to read a couple out and explain why they can work really, really well. So the first one is just as simple as, can you give me an example? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? So just genuinely asking them to elaborate and open up a little bit more, because you just never know what may come out at that stage. Where if you just say yes, 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 and ask no questions, you're not going any deeper than what that prospect is currently doing. So just asking really simple questions. Then we can ask something along the lines of, why that matters to them. So you're not asking why it necessarily matters to the organization, but why does it matter to them? Why is this a pain for them? Then we can ask how long something's been happening for. Now, this is really important because if something's happening time and time and time and time again for your prospect, you know it's a big problem and it's repetitive. So you understand there must be a reason why it's happening all the time. But if you ask the question about how long has this been happening, or how often does this happen, and they say, it's only happened once, then if that once is really important enough for them that, they're having this conversation with you, you need to really understand the why. So for example, it could be a safety concern, or it could be a quality concern. And that's why it's got their attention. Even though it's only happened once, they need to fix it. They need a solution. So far we've got, can you give me some examples? Can you tell me a little bit more? Why does this matter to you? How long has it been happening? And then I like to ask them about alternative options. So have they tried to do anything about it yet? If so, what have they tried? Who did they try it with? Did it work? The chances are it hasn't worked because they're already having this conversation with you. But I think it's still good to clarify for yourself, but also to remind them if they have tried something that it hasn't worked during this conversation. Also, you could ask them how they feel about something. Now, this can really open the can of worms, and you never know where this question's going to go. But I think it's important because if somebody is emotionally connected to a problem, the chances are when you ask them how they feel about it, that's going to come out. Or it's going to come out that they're not emotionally connected. They may say, I don't really care, it's my boss that cares, for example. Then you know you're talking to the wrong person. You're not talking to the decision maker. You're not talking to the person that's going to influence this decision. So it's really important to ask people how they feel about something. Also, it's great to ask them how much the problem is costing them. How much has it cost them so far? But also, how much may it cost them or keep costing them if they don't do something about it? Now, there's plenty of things happening in businesses right now that are hemorrhaging cash. They're putting their people at risk. So cost isn't always financial. But ask them the question, what is the cost of not having a solution to this pain or this problem? And they'll probably tell you if they know. And if they don't know, they may say something like, I don't even want to know the answer to your question. There's been times I've been dealing with a CEO that understands he's hemorrhaging cash and he's actually scared to know the detail around that. So again, it's important for me to know that during this conversation. The other thing that has come out quite a lot is when people have given up. So have they given up trying to deal with this situation, this pain, this symptom? And if so, why have they given up? Have they maybe just given up that there's any solution out there? Have they spent so much money on alternatives already that they've decided they just can't keep going? Maybe they feel like they're about to go out of business. All of the above are important for you to know as the sales professional. So it's really important to ask. So hopefully that helps on, how we can find out the pain that somebody is going through. And also, if they're going through a pain and you provide the solution, there will be a gain. So some of the questions I said there about, for example, why does this matter to you? How much do you think this is going to cost you? Some of those could talk to the gains, especially if they're controlling the budget and they're going to get some money back, or they're responsible for safety and you're going to make something safer. So it's really important to understand those pains before you understand the gain that individual is going to get. But honestly, it's one of the most important skills to learn in sales. And it's something I come across time and time again, even people that I would think would be very experienced salespeople that just aren't adding this into their discovery sessions or, discovery level calls or their strategies. If I go into a CRM, I want the answers to these questions, against the notes of that client. This is the stuff that is important for everyone in your organization to know about, whether they're selling the product or they're delivering the product. And also if they come back again in a year's time or they're a managed account, it's really important. So I just wanted to do an episode on it to share some examples with everyone. But if anyone has further questions, you know that you can reach out to me. The best way is to send me a private message on LinkedIn and I would be more than happy to help. Take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Sales Insights with Sarah podcast. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already so that you're notified of every new episode. If you could take a few minutes to leave a review, it would be greatly appreciated. See you next time.